and it looked like Caitlyn Clark has purchased a soccer team. For this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy.
Caitlyn Clark has done it again, folks. First, she conquered basketball, then she ruled golf, and now she is coming for soccer, but not as a player, but as an owner. Caitlyn Clark just became part of the ownership group for a women's soccer team in Cincinnati.
That CCFC nickname's about to take on a whole new meaning because Caitlyn Clark is apparently part of an ownership group trying to bring an NWSL team to Cincinnati.
If that doesn't scream a game changer, I don't know what does. While Clark is busy making power moves and redefining women's sports, Angel Reese must be somewhere side-eyeing the whole situation and trying to figure out how to stay relevant.
I'm here to tell you now, Caitlyn Clark never ceased to amaze me. This is another amazing milestone for the young rookie, and I'm here to tell you, she, my friends, is a proud owner of a soccer team.
Because let's be honest, Caitlyn Clark set the bar so high that Reese might even need a ladder to see it. Stay tuned, guys, because I will be showing you the entire story behind Clark's soccer team bid and why this could potentially change the whole landscape of the women's sport as we see it.
The biggest figure in the history of women's basketball. And I do think when it's all said and done, Caitlyn Clark will become the most influential figure in the history of women's sports, period. I've said it before. I think she's the next face of basketball, maybe already is the face of basketball.
Before talking about Clark's involvement in women's soccer, let's dive into the soccer league itself. The league is called NWSL, which stands for National Women's Soccer League. Of the 14 teams in the league, 4 are affiliated with men's Major League Soccer teams, the famous league featuring soccer legends such as Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez. Let's talk about this $100 million NWSL expansion bid for Cincinnati. I mean, this is a lot of money. This isn't your run-of-the-mill team acquisition. This is Clark bringing her Midas touch to a new sport.
WNBA star and West Des Moines native Caitlyn Clark is joining an effort to bring a pro women's soccer team to Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati issued a statement confirming that Clark is a part of the plan. Leaders say her passion for soccer and commitment to elevating women's sports make her a vital part of the bid to become the next NWSL team.
This brilliant deal is only going to boost women's sports and hype up the entire soccer community. Remember when Clark made basketball arenas explode with energy and turned the WNBA into a primetime attraction?
Caitlyn Clark is at that level. And the only way I think that she might have a leg up on LeBron is because she has elevated an entire league.
Well, imagine that same magic in the world of soccer. Clark's star power alone is already creating waves, and Cincinnati hasn't even kicked off a game yet. Social media is ablaze with excitement, with fans hyping Clark up as if she's about to personally dribble a soccer ball into the back of the net.
Because this is big time, big time news. So it looked like the Cincinnati.com is letting it be known. Caitlyn Clark has joined FC Cincinnati NWSL Expansion Project.
Meanwhile, the silence from the WNBA it's almost comical how they haven't acknowledged how Clark set the whole golfing world on fire. The whole of social media is full of Clark playing golf, and the league that benefited immensely from her record-breaking rookie season is now acting like she doesn't exist.
Throughout the year, WNBA players were demanding to be given credit for elevating the league. Angel Reese claimed that she was elevating the dump. They wanted us to believe that the WNBA was exploding in popularity. They wanted to keep all the credit for themselves while downplaying the impact of the only star in the league, Caitlyn Clark.
Could it be jealousy? Fear of losing their brightest star to another sport? They failed to protect her from on-court bullies, ignored her contributions to the league's rise in popularity, and now they're even refusing to celebrate her success in other sports.
You see her at this event. You see the kind of noise that this is making. You see that this is trending on social media. You see that SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, all of these places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything. That's what we were talking about this whole season. We were correct. The fans that were saying that the WNBA seems to be trying to quiet the noise of Caitlyn Clark.
That's correct. WNBA is clearly not happy about Clark's success, and all of the major analysts seem to agree on that. But here's where things get more juicy. Women's soccer is about to get more heated because Angel Reese, perhaps in an effort to keep pace with Caitlyn Clark's ever-expanding empire, is also dipping her toes into soccer ownership. You heard that right. Angel is also a soccer team owner.
Now, before y'all haters come in the comments, we all know Angel Reese bought a soccer team too. Now, how we know Angel Reese didn't throw the alley hoop to Caitlyn Clark? Let her know, hey, you know what? This might be a good profitable investment for us young rookies.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
If she would have left it with what she had to say right before the last couple of words, I would have been fine with it. She's embraced the villain. She understands social media. She's done quite well. She is cashed in, literally cashed in. But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlyn Clark.
What makes this even funnier is the contrast in how both athletes approach their platforms. Clark is building an empire, one smart move at a time.
That's the thing when it comes to this, is like a lot of these celebrities, a lot of sports people are getting involved as like part owners of teams, and I think it's a really good thing, like long term, to see like a bunch of different people having ownership and seeing them come together.
Clark is proving that her influence isn't confined to basketball, extending her reach into soccer and potentially becoming a force across multiple sports.
Now, a lot of us have been talking about how annoying it is. Every time someone mentions Caitlyn Clark, they feel like they have to mention Angel Reese.
Sure, Reese has her supporters, but let's not pretend that she commands the same level of respect or admiration as Clark, because it is the farthest thing from the truth. And let's not forget the elephant in the room. Caitlyn Clark actually knows soccer.
Not enough people are talking about Caitlyn Clark's high school soccer highlights. I mean, check this out. She has 3 girls on her, and she still buries it home. Absolute class.
Before she became a basketball sensation, she was a soccer star in high school. This isn't some random business decision, it's a homecoming of sorts. Clark understands the game, its culture, and its fans.
Like, I remember in high school, I played soccer and I was on varsity and I loved it, but my teammates would get mad because I would go and practice and work out and do basketball after school right before we had our soccer games, and then I couldn't believe that I was doing that. So I eventually had to give up soccer, even though I loved it, but I think it was just the will I had to want to get better at it. Like, I loved just practicing it, and I think at times that's not something everybody really likes to do or wants to do or is passionate about, something they love. And for me, that's what told me like I wanted to have a future in that.
She's great at soccer, basketball, and even golf. Is there anything this girl can't do? Her college days are proof that she's a soccer fan at heart.
Maybe breaking news, you're starting a USL championship team in Iowa. Any idea of bringing Caitlyn Clark in on that ownership?
So Caitlyn went to the same high school as my kids, so I know Caitlyn. As a freshman in high school, was first team All-State in soccer. So the better question may be, do you want to bring in Caitlyn to play for our women's team if and when we announce that? Caitlyn right now is kind of busy, so I don't know how that's going to fit in, but she's a fantastic soccer player. We're certainly having Caitlyn as an owner, great woman, fantastic person, so not a bad idea.
I mean, she's not just throwing money at a team for clout. She's investing in something she's passionate about.
So on Thursday, an ESPN article conveyed that, quote, Indiana Fever star Caitlyn Clark is part of the ownership group trying to bring an NWSL expansion team to Cincinnati. So the article went on to say Cincinnati is one of a handful of finalists bidding for an NWSL expansion team that is expected to be awarded before the end of the year.
Reese's ventures, in comparison, often feel more like desperate attempts to stay in the limelight than genuine passion projects.
But Caitlyn Clark, it does appear that she is going to be investing in some teams. And look, is she the first WNBA player to invest in a soccer team? No. Will she be the last one? I'm pretty sure Angel Reese has as well. Obviously, this becomes a bigger deal when it is a former, supposedly D1 level soccer player in Caitlyn Clark that is the player doing this.
The ripple effects of Clark's move are already being felt. Cincinnati is buzzing with anticipation, and the NWSL just got a massive credibility boost. Clark's involvement will undoubtedly attract new fans, sponsors, and media attention.
Cincinnati bid to land a national women's soccer league franchise is receiving a boost from arguably the most popular women's sports star in the world. Caitlyn Clark, a guard from the Indiana Fever, and the league regaining near unanimous, which we're still looking for that one hater, Rookie of the Year, is a member, the ownership group, attempting to bring an NWS franchise to Cincinnati. ESPN reported this.
It's the kind of star power the league has been craving, and Clark is delivering it on a silver platter. Meanwhile, Reese is left trying to convince people she's still a draw without Clark overshadowing her. Spoiler alert, she's not.
Caitlyn Clark's our Indiana Fever's part of the ownership group trying to bring an NWSL expansion team to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's won a handful of finalists for the final expansion team and expect to be awarded just before the end of the year. The team will begin play in 2026, joining a previously announced expansion team in Boston, bringing it to 16 teams.
What's truly poetic about all this is how Clark continues to win without even trying. She doesn't need to throw shade, engage in petty rivalries, or rely on gimmicks. Her talent, intelligence, and charisma speak for themselves.
Well, they're at it again. And by there, I mean they who are members and leadership of sports other than basketball showing admiration for Caitlyn Clark. It was golf, soccer.
Reese, on the other hand, has built her brand on controversy and confrontation, and it's starting to backfire. While Clark's stock rises with every calculated move, Reese's seems to stagnate, weighed down by her inability to evolve beyond her basketball persona.
The headline to the article over at SI.com, NWSL Commissioner praises, quote, multi-sport athlete Caitlyn Clark amid soccer team ownership. Multi-sport athlete Caitlyn Clark plays basketball professionally. But what people are starting to see is that those old days where she was very much involved in other sports, they're still there.
Caitlyn Clark's journey from basketball superstar to soccer team owner is nothing short of legendary. She's not just redefining what it means to be an athlete, she's setting a new standard for what women in sports can achieve. Reese, meanwhile, is scrambling to keep up, but let's face it, Clark is playing chess while Reese is still figuring out checkers.
The Cincinnati bid team is thrilled that Caitlyn Clark has joined our ownership group in pursuit of bringing women's professional football to our city. They said her passion for the sport, commitment to elevating women's sports in and around the greater Cincinnati region.
Also, the Cincinnati authorities are simply excited for Clark's takeover, and they are predicting that this can change the whole landscape for women's soccer. Even the commissioner of NWSL is praising Caitlyn Clark for her efforts.
So here is the commissioner of a league. No, not Kathy Engelbert. This is the commissioner of the National Women's Soccer League, and she praises Caitlyn Clark as a multi-sport athlete, all whilst is trying to get herself a soccer team.
That's correct. While the WNBA and their commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, are raging in a corner, other sports authorities are piling praise upon praise for Caitlyn Clark by saying that she's the one who's uplifting women's sports.
It is Jessica Berman, and she spoke with the media on Friday. Not only did she confirm Clark's interest, but gave some extremely glowing praise of the 22-year-old. So here's what Berman had to say. Again, not Kathy Engelbert. Kathy Engelbert is the commissioner of the WNBA, and I don't really sense real, appreciation for the multi-sport athlete.
While the WNBA commissioner is not happy about this affair, the NSWL commissioner is simply elated about Clark's entry into women's soccer.
Multiple sources said the expansion fee could approach $100 million. Beckham got Inter Miami for 25 because of that deal. By the way, that's the greatest deal a sports person has ever signed, by the way.
$100 million is a lot of money, and it is living proof of how much Clark loves to contribute to women's sports apart from her own game, basketball and the WNBA. After considering all of these points, one thing is clear. It's Clark's world now, and everyone else is just living in it. What do you think? Is this soccer move by Clark a start of a new era of women's sports? Let us know in the comments, and thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to never miss new updates from the world of basketball.